WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, often reviewing rare and exotic whiskeys. 13th Colony Southern Rye Whiskey. Now, this is the 2024 batch. I only have a whiskey number for the 2023 batch. That would be 240999. So we have 47.5% ABV. Now, this is a very, very beautiful bottle. I like it. Reminds me a little bit of the birthday bourbon from Old Forester that I will never get my hands on. But I like this. I'm sure many people in the stores hate it because it takes up more space than a normal bottle would, but hey, why not? Now, on the bottle, I have a little bit of information here. It says French oak finish. Now, if you go to the website itself, it does tell you the following here. And I like what they actually say here. The 13th Colony Rye Whiskey features a rich and distinctive taste, drawing its character from the unique toasted French oak spiral finish. So what they're doing apparently is actually they're using French oak spirals. Now I'm going to say something probably most of you have never thought about it that much. I haven't either in the past until about the last 6 months or so. I don't think there's hardly anyone in the US that is actually re-racking, which means taking their whiskey out of a barrel and putting it into a new barrel when it comes to French oak. I think basically everyone, according to my information at the moment, is using cubes or spirals to do a French oak finish, which is disappointing. Now, if I go to Sagamore, I know that they actually use a second real barrel for their double oak finish. When I go to Woodford Reserve double oak, I know they're using a second oak new charred barrel. But everything else that says French oak finish, you'll be surprised. Ask, research, dig, and you're going to find that hardly anyone actually has a French oak barrel there, but they're using the blocks or the spirals, and that's what's happening here. Now, an oak that has been used for aging some of the world's finest wines, the tighter grain of French oak gives a silkier texture than its American counterpart. This rye is derived from a mash bill high in rye, 95%. I mean, come on, that's high. Enjoy this spicy flavor with a sweet finish in every pour. So aged between 4 and 6 years. 2 years ago, everything was aged between 3 and 5 years. So 95 proof. Now, what I did is, they used to have 96.4. I don't know many distilleries that use 96.4. Was that just a typo? I don't know. I mean, and the second thing is, the bottle says, and this really, really rubbed me the wrong way, because I bought this bottle for a lot of money. I was like, yay, we finally have Georgian whiskey here. It says here, produced and bottled by 13th Colony Distillery in Americanus, Georgia. It doesn't say distilled. It doesn't say straight either, by the way. It doesn't say a blend of straight whiskeys. It just says, and that's a real unique word here, Southern Rye Whiskey. What's Southern Rye? Now, I did the following. I took 95.5% rye whiskey from Bullet, and I did the following. And you're going to laugh, but I really did this. I have put a French oak toasted chip, wood chips is what I have here, into my glass and let it set for over an hour now. So look at these chips here. I did an experiment on my German channel. I had 9 liters of Irish whiskey. Some of it was cask strength, most of it was just 40%, the cheap stuff, and I poured it all into a big 10-liter canister, and then I put the 9 liters, there was just a little bit of space at the top, I put in 9 different 1-liter bottles I had the whiskey into them. And one I left as a control, nothing happened to that, and I had here 8 different oak chips. And for over 6 weeks, these oak chips were allowed to just mature with the whiskey and influence the whiskey. I have a cognac wood chips, I have bourbon wood chips, I have sherry wood chips, I have rum wood chips, I have American lightly toasted, medium toasted, heavily toasted, and I have French oak medium toasted. These. Now, a spiral is actually a piece of wood. It's cut in a spiral, so you have a lot more surface contact with the whiskey. And now imagine, I'm just imagining here. I'm not accusing, I'm not imagining. Imagine 13 colonies. Now, there's pictures of their pot still. It's a 250-gallon pot still made of stainless steel, even on the website. If you go to the website here, you will see meet our master distiller, Graham Arthur. He's pumping something into that. There's might be three little on the column part, the plates in there. Not a single piece of copper to be seen. Now, first of all, 13 Colonies has thousands of barrels. You could not have made thousands of barrels of whiskey yourself on that tiny pot still. You can do about a barrel a day. So, yeah, this is sourced. Now imagine you had sourced whiskey, I don't know, MGP, Dickel, Bardstown, where else do we have good places there that can provide Columbia, Tennessee Distillers Company, all these. I don't know why, but I thought it was a law that they rediscovered that every single bottle, if it's not made in your state, you actually have to put, because there's not a state on here anywhere. It doesn't say Georgia, Texas, or Georgia rye whiskey. It says Southern. All right, Southern's not a state, but you have to put the state it was distilled in on it. I thought, hey, why aren't you doing that, 13 Colonies? Just a question. Imagine you bought a couple thousand barrels, I'm sorry, of MGP juice, of Dickel juice, of rye from Tennessee Distillers, maybe Bardstown, whoever, all right? And in each and every of these barrels, you just put one, maybe even two of these staves in there, French oak, and you just let it sit. You've had the whiskey for 2 years without it. You've had it now for 2 years with these staves. And Graham Arthur, the master distiller, goes by and he tastes everything at once. He says, yep, it's finished. Nope, it's not. One more year. Yep. And he blends them together. That will change the whiskey a lot. And that's what I did with my French oak wood chip here with the 1 hour. Now, the 1 hour is not going to influence enough, but it did influence it. I can taste the normal, I can compare it to this, and there's actually a chocolatey type of wood French oak moment going on. Now, the surface area to the amount of liquid is nothing you could get in a normal cask, because this was a lot of surface area and there wasn't much whiskey in here. And so that actually had a good amount of influence. Now imagine doing that even longer. Like I said, 1, 2 years even. There's going to be some interesting moments happening there, and you're going to get that silky, even the website themselves, they talk about that wonderful silky taste here, yeah? An oak that has been used for aging some of the world's finest wines, the tighter grain of French oak. So American wood grows in the summer more, and in the winters just a little bit. Those dark rings are the winter months where it doesn't grow and then grows more. In Europe, our summers are not that long, not that hard, so we actually have tighter grains, so we have less growth in the summer. We need 200 years to grow a tree in France or in Germany for the same size of tree of oak 80 years in America. All right, and so this tighter grain gives a silkier texture than its American counterpart. They write it, and I agree. Let's nose this. The first thing I know is MGP juice. This is 95.5 MGP juice. All right, I've had a lot of it. I might be wrong, but that's what I'm getting. I have the MGP juice here of the bullet. It actually says here somewhere on the label, made in Indiana. So made in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. So it's actually what it says here, distilled in Indiana, Lawrenceburg. That should be on that label there. Now, this bottle in America costs you about $45. Now, used to 2 years ago, it used to be $35. I paid, and now hold on to your horses here. I don't know what happened here. I think I was overcharged, is what I'm going to say. I paid 119 euros for this. Now, normally we just double the price. So say you're going to pay $45, I'm going to pay 90 euros with excise tax, with shipping, and so on. But that's almost triple the price. I'm going to talk with Miss Canada, the person who actually sold me this bottle over here, I didn't check the prices beforehand. My mistake, all right? So, of what was actually going on, why is there such a price difference? This, basically, the single barrel from Hard Truth with double the price. I just ran out of suitcase room, and it's just like, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to start importing the whiskey over here myself in the bottles. There are 2 shops in the States that do whiskey shipments over to America. Now I just buy 6 bottles. It's going to double the price, but it's not going to triple the price. And so that's what I'm looking for. Beautiful nose. It's okay. I always get a nice little spearmint moment on the nose with the 95.5 from MGP. Cheers. Great texture. That French oak moment. I don't think they put the French oak spirals in there for 2 years. I think it was 1 year. It might have just been 6 months. It might have been 6 weeks for all I know. I don't know. I haven't worked with the spirals yet. I have to do that as well one day. That is good. Now, what they do say on the website, and I think that's interesting here, is if you go to the website, who we are, we have the FAQs. Do you distill your spirits? Yes, 13 Colony distills our aged spirits locally. Full stop, new sentence. We also source our specific mash bill, 95.5, and I think the 72 is the bourbon, to keep up with our growing demand. So we source. That's what they say. Now, 100% of our barrels are aged in our warehouse, as we believe the South Georgia climate is a huge differentiator to our flavor. Totally agree. And does 13 Colony use any additional additives, color, or flavor? No. 13 Colony does not add additives, does not add coloring, and does not add flavoring to our products. I totally agree. They did not put any type of caramelized sugar in here. What that does not say is they do not use, like, Maker's 46 staves or French oak spirals. That is allowed, and yet the purest bourbon enthusiast in me goes, no! But then I take out my bottle here of Woodford Double Oak, and I just go, yes, it's so good. I take out my bottle here of my Maker's 46 cast strength and go, it's even better. And then I take a look at this and I go, okay, why not? But be a little bit more transparent, please. Don't try to pull the wool over our eyes. And that's going to be the question of the day. Who, any distillery, could be Scotland, Ireland, Europe, Japan, or America, which whiskey producers, it says here produced and bottled by, not distilled by, which whiskey producers have tried to pull the wool over our eyes as consumers. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of discussion about that. All right, so now this is on the flavor profile. This is a C plus B minus whiskey. I was a little underwhelmed with this whiskey. Now, it's got a nice finish. It's got a nice French oak moment. Davies County has it as well with a French oak. It's balanced. It's good. It's nice. And yet something in me just goes, they're not playing with all the cards on the table. There's something going on in there, I think. So my own personal creation here, it does have a silky, chocolatey expression here. Nice, 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 nice. Value for money, for $35, if you find it, pick it up, buy it, enjoy it. $45, pick it up, buy it, enjoy it. $120, which I paid for this. Are you crazy? No. That's my problem. And have you done any oak chip or wood experiments? We call it whiskey transformation over here. Mm-hmm. That definitely changed the bullet a little bit. That's interesting. 1 hour with this. This is a very big chip of wood compared to here are the surface area of the liquid. That actually did nice. That made it nice. I like that. All right, so Whiskey Jason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American. What is your opinion of 13 Colony? Just good, or source good, or just homemade good, or what type of good is it? Write your comments down below. Thank you very much. And by the way, if you want more information about the allegations here of them making their own whiskey or not, I would say go to the bourbonculture.com website, type in 13th Colony, and you're going to actually see his argumentation here. He talks about, first of all, and I must totally agree here, no evidence exists that 13 Colony has ever bottled the whiskey that they have distilled. His second point is historical context. The past shows no mention of whiskey distilled by the 13th Colony. Third, 13th Colony has a history of sourcing. They used to use Wyoming whiskey, which is interesting. And I like the last part that he uses as his final argument is virtually no online reviewer has ever complained about the common craft whiskey notes on any of their whiskeys. We've all had craft whiskeys, and we're going, not a single moment. This is good whiskey. This is good. For me, it tastes like MGP whiskey with a little bit of a twist here. Yeah, not a single reviewer going, oh, bad, bad, bad. It's not bad. It's good whiskey. And you can't make that type of good whiskey on a 250-gallon stainless steel pot still. Just not possible. It's just not possible. And so that's the thing that really, really bugs me as well. Thank you for watching, liking, subscribing, putting up with my rant here. Paid too much for the bottle, and I'm a little disappointed about that, and also a little bit disappointed about the fact that when I researched this, it might not be their own juice. Bye-bye.